Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to my dear respected brothers and sisters out there. I hope that you are doing well. Today's lesson, of course, is continuation from yesterday's lesson. So this is, of course, the intermediate book, student intermediate book, and we are continuing with unit number 4, and this is part 3 of the video. Okay, so without any more time being wasted, let's crack on. So let me just close that and go to that. Right, so now you should be able to see my screen now. So if you remember, we did some of these exercises before. This was on page 31, correctly, page 31. Yep, right there. And here we need to think about the form, right? How do we write the negative? How do we write the question form? And how do we write the past? So we did exercises from this page here, this side here. If you remember, guys, let me just zoom in. We did the exercises with this, okay? And I mentioned briefly about, making a sentence. You can make a sentence with any of these, right? So just a brief reminder from yesterday, we spoke about modal verbs, right? Some of the examples that we used were can, okay? We used have to, and we used be allowed to, okay? And if you remember, have to and be allowed to, although they are modal verbs, they don't look like modal verbs, right? Okay, because of the to, okay, and because of the verb have and allowed, okay. So those verbs, when we change them in the question form or the negative, okay, or the past, we have to think about the basic tense, okay. If you're talking about the present simple tense, or if you're talking about the past simple tense, so you have to use those rules, okay. But when we talk about the words like can, this one has a slightly different rule, right? So if we want to talk about the negative of can, we simply add not. So I can play, negative. I can't play, right? So look at the difference. And if I use the word have to, for example, I have to play, that's the positive. But the negative, I say I don't have to play. Not, you can't say I have not played, I haven't played. No, that's not right. Okay, good. Now let's continue with this. So I'm going to skip this page. Okay, it's not necessarily this one here. Okay, so well, actually, let's try a few examples here at the very least. Okay, so here we have number 3, and let me just turn on my pointer. Here we have number 3. So it says complete the sentences with have got or hasn't got. Okay, 2. Okay, and a line from C in exercise 2. So we have to use one of these words, one of these lines, okay, with the combination of have got to or has got to. Okay, if you notice the difference, here we have the contraction have, and here we have the contraction has. Okay, so let's have a look at the sentence. Someone's asking the question, where's my briefcase? Okay, so maybe we have to say, so here, so the briefcase is singular. Briefcase, we're talking about, so here is the briefcase, and then they respond with the word I. So I, we have to use have. So for example, we have to say I have, for example, let's just use the abbreviation. Let's use the abbreviation. I've got to what? So we have to use one of the lines here. So maybe they have got to go to work, I think, right? They've got to go to work. There you go. Okay, that's easy enough. And then here, the next one, number 2, it says, look at those dirty plates. Plates, they're dirty. So here we have the we. So again, with we use have. So we say we've got to what? So if you've got dirty plates, what do we have to do? we have to do the washing up, right, guys? Let's make it bigger. Do the washing up. So we've got to do the washing up. Oh, by the way, I forgot the full stop. Good, easy enough. Number 3, the fridge is empty. So here again, we have the subject we. So we use have. So we've got to what? So the fridge is empty. What do we have to do? I think we have to go shopping, right? Need to fill up the fridge. We have to go. Shopping. Okay, good. The next one, number 4. Here it says, you need to. Sorry, I think my face was was recorded instead of the screen, so I apologize. So here, what we did earlier. Sorry about that. Here we did. So we're doing number 3 here. Okay, I did number 1, number 2, and now this is number 3. Now we're doing number 4. You need to get an alarm clock. You need to get an alarm clock. Okay, so we have the word you. So with you, we have to use have got. So you've, this is the abbreviation, you've got to do what? What do we have to do? You've got to maybe get up early, right? If you need an alarm clock, you need to get up early. So you have to get up early, guys. Okay, and here now we have number 5. The bin's full. The bin, yani the trash can, as American says, the bin. The bin's full. Someone. Okay, so someone. So someone. This is a singular. You have to use had. Someone. So someone's got. So someone has or someone's got to. What they've got to do? They've got to take out the rubbish, right? Take out the rubbish. The rubbish. Okay, excellent. And the last one here, it says the chef's ill. Okay, so the waiter, this is the waiter, he's a he, right? So the waiter's got to what? Got to do what? What does he have to do? Does he have to do cooking maybe? Yeah, do the cooking. There you go. So the waiter, so this is a singular, okay, he or she maybe. The waiters got to do the cooking. Whoops, sorry, cooking. Okay, that was hopefully that was easy enough. Okay, that was good. So what I'll do to make, I will like to save this into a Word document. 1 second, guys. Let me just open a new Word, and from here I'm gonna also then go back. And then I'm going to do my copy tool, snipping tool, to copy this page. Let's do that. Here we go. Captured it. And I'm going to throw it here. Right, there you go. Boom, available there. Okay, excellent. All right, now let's move on to the next page of the book. Okay, guys. So here we're going to talk about signs and labels. Okay, it's right there. Signs and labels. Okay, so we have these different signs here. You have a no entry, maybe just staff only. We have a passport check label here. We have an admission, like places where you can go in, somewhere that you can go in. We have a use by label. You will find this usually on food and drinks. We have a parking sign. Okay. We have a label for the airport, and we have a speed limit as well, right? And finally, a no camera sign and a no mobile sign. Okay, that's quite easy enough. So what do we have to do? So here, what does it say? Let me just zoom in. What do these signs and labels mean? Okay, we have an idea, right? So what do we have to do? We have to use have to or don't have to, okay? Or we can use can or can't. And finally, we can use be allowed to or the negative, not, okay? Not allowed to, okay? So for example, if you look at the first one here, it looks like this is a place where only staff members can go. Okay, so maybe we can say, using one of these sentences, we can say you can't enter here. Maybe it's a place you can't enter. Okay, you're not allowed to enter in this place. You are not allowed to enter. Okay, so maybe I can write a sentence here. Okay, so let's use this. The first picture, which is this picture here, we're going to say, you're not allowed to enter. Enter, you're not allowed to enter. Okay, or we can use the word can. You can't enter. Okay, so both of these, they express permission, right guys? Permission, right? So this is a place. Do I have permission to go into the staff area? No, I don't. Only the staff members are allowed. Okay, good. Let's go back. Let's look at another one. Here, number 2, we have an admission. Okay, so admission to where? To a summer exhibition. Okay, so here we have prize. We have a list of prices for adults and children. So for the adults, they must pay 10 euros. Okay, and the children, they go free. Good for them. Okay, so what can we say here? So we probably have to say adults have to pay, okay, but children, okay, children don't have to pay, right guys? Simple enough, right? Okay, adults have to pay, but children don't have to pay. Excellent. Let's look at another example. Here we have a passport label and looks like a security guy with the passport. So here, maybe here you have to sort of like, you know, you have to show something, right? So we can say you have to show your passport, right guys? Passport. You have to show your passport. Okay, so let me just highlight the modal verbs I've used. So here I used allowed to. Here I used can't. Okay, it's a negative here. Here I used have to for the adults. Okay, and here I used don't have to for the negative for the children. And the last one is you have to, okay, show your passport. Okay, good. So you guys get the idea, right? So here's another example. We have a speed limit. Okay, so maybe with the speed limit, you aren't allowed or you can't drive over 50 miles per hour, right? Here, for example, you aren't allowed or you can't drive. And here, for example, you aren't allowed to take photos or you can't take photos, right, guys? And number 9, you know, mobile phones are not allowed or you can't use mobile phones. Okay, so that's quite easy enough. So this is how you use the modal verbs have to, don't have to, can, can't, and be allowed to. Okay, guys, so that was quite easy enough. Good. Right, let's move on again. I'm going to skip a few pages here because we don't have a lot of time to cover. Now here we're talking about, looks like we're talking about shopping, right? Shopping. Okay, so I think what I would like to do, instead of looking at these, let's go straight ahead and look at the back of the book. Okay, so let me write in page 133, go, and we should end up at the back of the book. So I need to look at the unit books. Okay, let me just make it smaller. Go next page. Yep, this is the one I want to unit 4. There we go, unit 4. So here, guys, if you remember, at the back of the page, this is page number 139. Okay, here they give you some idea about the introduction of modal verbs. Okay, so here you get an idea about the rules and how to use them. Okay, so here they're using the words like must and might, and also if we keep going down, here we can talk about other modal verbs like could, may, might as well. These are all modal verbs. Let's see what other things we need to look at as well. Okay, here they're giving us modal verbs of the word have to. Remember, have to, we can use it for obligation and permission. Here we have examples of how we use it. I have to. And with he and she, we say he has to or she has to. Okay, guys? And here's the example of can and be allowed to. Okay, so here we say he or she is allowed to, but I, you, and we, and they, okay, we used it with are allowed to. Okay, good. So that is quite straightforward. There are other examples which I'm not going to cover, which I will not cover in my test with my own students. So for now, the most important thing is to understand what are modal verbs. Okay, understand that the difference between have to and can. So remember, have to, we have to use the present simple rules, like to make a question we have to use do. Okay, and with can, to make a question, all we do is swap. I can play football. Can you play football? Okay, guys? Good. Right. Thank you very much again for your time. I'm sorry to have rushed this a little bit, but because today's Thursday, and I will plan to make another video which will cover the actual preview of the test for Unit 4. Okay, guys? Right. So thank you very much for your time and patience. Do have a lovely weekend. Watch out for any more updates from me on WhatsApp. And yeah, thank you again. Assalamu alaikum.